Be ready. Start. The aforesaid clause itself indicates that by reason of the agreement between the parties, the governing law of the agreement was the prevailing law of India. However, the settlement procedure for adjudication of rights or obligations under the agreement was by way of arbitration in London, and the English arbitration law was made applicable to such proceedings. Therefore, the lex fori for the arbitration is English law, but the substantive law will be Indian law. Disputes arose between the parties with regard to the performance of the agreement. Claim was made by the appellant for return of its investment in the modernization program, loss, profits, and other sums. The respondent made a claim for unclaimed installments plus interest and damages for breach of intellectual property rights. Negotiations to reach a settlement of the disputes between the parties were unsuccessful, and a written notice of request for arbitration was issued by the respondent to the appellant by a notice dated 13th November 1997. The disputes were duly referred to arbitration, which was held in England. The arbitral tribunal made two awards dated 10th November 2002 and 12th November 2002 in England. The appellant thereafter filed applications under Section 34 of the Arbitration Act 1996 for setting aside the aforesaid two awards in the court of the learned district judge Bilaspur, which were numbered as MJC numbers 92 of 2003 and 14 of 2003 respectively. By an order dated 20th July 2004, the learned district judge Bilaspur held that the applications filed by the appellant under Section 34 of the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996, hereinafter referred to as the Arbitration Act 1996, for setting aside the foreign awards are not tenable, and accordingly dismissed the same. Aggrieved by the aforesaid judgment, the appellant filed two miscellaneous appeals, being Miscellaneous Appeal number 889 of 2004 and Miscellaneous Appeal number 890 of 2004 in the High Court of Judicature at Chhattisgarh, Bilaspur. It pertains to the applicability of Section 9 of the Arbitration Act 1996. In this case, the appellant, an Indian company, entered into two shipbuilding contracts with respondent number 1 on 16th February 2007. The appellant was to construct vessels having builder's hull number 379, which was to be completed and delivered by the appellant to the respondent number 1 within the time prescribed under the two shipbuilding contracts. The agreement contained an arbitration clause. The parties initially agreed to get their disputes settled through arbitral process under the rules of arbitration of the International Chamber of Commerce ICC at Paris. Subsequently, mutually agreed on 29th November 2010 to arbitration under the rules of London Maritime Arbitrators Association LMAA in London. This agreement is said to have been reached between the parties in the interest of saving costs and time. Prior to agreement dated 29th November 2010 relating to arbitration under LMAA rules, respondent number 1 had filed two requests for arbitration in relation to both the contracts under Article 4 of ICC rules on 12th November 2010, recognizing that the seat of arbitration is in Paris and the substantive law applicable is English law. Subsequently, in view of the agreement dated 29th November 2010, the first respondent submitted two requests for arbitration under LMAA rules in London on 4th February 2011. During the pendency of the aforesaid two requests on 10th November 2010, the first respondent filed two applications under Section 9 of the Arbitration Act 1996, which are numbered as AA number 6/2010 and AA number 7/2010, seeking orders of injunction against the encashment of refund bank guarantees issued under the contracts. Learned District Judge Dakshina Kannada, Mangalore granted an ex parte ad interim injunction in both the applications, restraining the appellant from encashing the bank guarantee on 16th November 2010. The appellant appeared and filed its statement of objections. After hearing, the Learned District Judge passed the judgments and orders on 14th January 2011, allowing the applications filed by respondent number 1 under Section 9 of the Arbitration Act 1996. Both the orders were challenged in the appeals by the appellant before the High Court of Karnataka and Bangalore. From the above, it is clear that respondent number 1 is not remediless. It is already before the arbitral tribunal at London. Thus, it is open for it to seek interim order of injunction for the purpose of preserving the assets as per Section 44 of the Arbitration Act 1996 in courts at London. Since the parties have agreed that substantive law governing the contract is English law, and as the law governing arbitration agreement is English law, it is open for respondent number 1 to approach the courts at England to seek the interim relief. We have heard very lengthy submissions on all aspects of the matter. All the learned counsel on both sides have made elaborate references to the commentaries of various experts in the field of international commercial arbitration. Thank you.